Hi everyone, welcome to this little video series on Pythagoras and trigonometry. One of the things that's very difficult to get your head around with Pythagoras, SOHCAHTOA, sine rule, the cosine rule, and area of a triangle is, well, with trigonometry there, is it's very difficult to know which one to use and when. So in this mini series, I want to go over what to do for when and make sure you understand where to do it, because quite often you'll get a question that's like this and it'll just say something like work out this missing side or work out the missing angle, and it won't tell you which one to use. So we're going to go through all the basics of these things and also make sure we know the differences between them. So first off, trigonometry, not trigonometry, sorry, I should have said Pythagoras. So it's a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared, and that's just going to be the basic formula that we need to use. Okay, so the c squared is called the hypotenuse. Okay, hypotenuse. Okay, hypotenuse, that's just a fancy way of saying this is the longest side. So this is always the C. Okay, and typically, I say typically, always, it's always opposite to the right angle. And then A and B, just pick one, doesn't matter which one you choose at all. Now, the reason that I can tell that this is Pythagoras theorem, okay, is we look at an angle that we've got. We can see I've got a right angle. I'm just going to draw it like this. I've got a right angle. In fact, I'm going to put it up here. I've got a right angle. Okay. Also, I've been given two sides. So I've got side, and I'm trying to work out this other side, so I've got another side. So here's what always happens with Pythagoras. I've always been given a right angle. Right angle applies every single time. Okay. And then of the other three sides, I will have been given two of them, and I'll always be asked to work out the other one. And of these three side lengths, you'll just be asked to work out one of them. Okay, so that's how you can tell something is Pythagoras. So all we need to do in this case is we just need to plug in some values. So a squared. So a, we can see we've just labeled this as 3, so this is 3 squared. Then we're going to add on b squared, so b is going to be the 4, so 4 squared, and that's equal to c squared. We could call this c squared, I'm going to call this x squared, but if you've labeled this as c squared, that's totally fine. Next, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, and that's equal to x squared. Let's evaluate this, and that becomes 25. So 25 is x squared. Now we're just going to do a bit of inverse here because we need to figure out what x is, so we have to square root both sides. Because this and this will of course cancel, and then we can say the square root of 25, which is just 5, so therefore x is equal to 5. Okay, hopefully that one there is okay, that one makes sense. I just want to show you another example. This will probably be the only one I do on this one, so I'm going to keep these relatively short and sweet. Because the main point of these is we're trying to make sure we understand the differences between everything. Okay, so we're going to have a look at this one. Let's just get some on the screen. There we go. Okay, so same sort of thing. I would advise anything we use here that involves formula, always write out the formula and then label and then plug into the formula. So longest side, always C. These ones does not matter in the slightest. I'm just going to label them like this. Okay, a squared. That's the 12. That's 12 squared. I prefer to label the a squared as the front one, or in fact, probably the back one. Probably B is probably best. Doesn't matter at all. But sometimes if you label this last one as x, maybe that's a bit easy, but it really doesn't matter. Anyway, we've got 12 squared. We're going to add on to the b squared, so that's going to be x squared. If you've kept this as b squared, by the way, that's totally fine as well. And that's equal to 13 squared. Okay, let's evaluate. 12 squared, 144. Can't do anything with this just yet, so I'm going to keep this as x squared. Okay, and then we've got 13 squared, so 13 squared is just 169. Okay, so we need to evaluate here. So let's do a bit of solving equations. So when we solve equations, if I'm starting at x squared, this bit here, I want to get the x on its own. So what we're saying is x, I squared it, then I added 144 and it gives me this. So I just need to do the exact opposite here. So let's subtract the 144, cancel, cancel. Then on this left-hand side, we've got x squared, and that's equal to doing the inverse of this. So just subtracting those ones, that's going to give us 25. So x squared is 25, so therefore x must be equal to 5. Okay, and that's basically all we need to do. So there's lots more detail that I could go into this. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to save this for live lessons. But the main thing was I wanted to make sure we're happy with what is a squared, b squared, c squared, what's the hypotenuse, Can we do it when when we're trying to work out, so we've got these ones and we're trying to work out this one, and also can we do it when it's this situation where we've been given the longest side and we're working out one the shortest side.